This week, it's our annual Year in Review edition of the program as we look back at the most important issues, the people and newsmakers, the memorable moments of this fast disappearing year we call 2012. We remember the highs and the lows of this past 12 months in our metro. There have been tragic episodes for sure, but we recall times to celebrate too. There have been plenty of those we've shared together. And what about this new year just around the corner? Stay with us as we prognosticate over what's in store in 2013 for the city we call home. Hello again, I'm Nick Haynes. Festive Yuletide greetings to you and your kin. With us on this special holiday edition of the program, we've gathered some of the wittiest, pithy, insightful and downright funnest people you see around our Week in Review table over the course of the year, and forced them to do something very different than we normally do. We asked them to review the entire course of the year in quiz show style on this holiday edition of the program. But are they up to the task? Let's see. She spent years behind the anchor desk and in the investigation unit at KCTV5. These days, you hear her behind the microphone talking with listeners about the news at News Radio 98.1 FM KMBZ. She is Dana Wright. He is the Star's chief investigative reporter who also finds just enough time each weekday morning to keep you up to date on the radio on KCUR-FM. Steve Kraske is with us. He writes, he blogs, he reports, and even shoots and edits video stories for his newspaper's website. He is the Kansas City Star's resident Swiss Army knife, Dave Helling. And he is the current title holder of the Kansas City Week in Review Best Dressed Reporter Award. He is also known as the senior writer for the Kansas City Call newspaper, Eric Wesson. Thank you so much for being with us. Now, our Year in Review program, as I said, is done in quiz show style, and that's done intentionally to allow us to surgically laser in on those most interesting moments and personalities of the past 12 months. And that's good for you at home, because it means if there are answers that are exceptionally tedious, we can move on quickly and only concentrate on the responses we find intriguing and worthy of further exploration. So, Steve Kraske, we begin with you with a fill-in-the-blank question. Of all the stories making news in Kansas City over this last year, the story that had the greatest impact on our metropolitan area was blank.
Well, to me, Nick, it was an easy call. Governor Sam Brownback, that huge tax cut in Kansas, $4.5 billion over 6 years. It's going to touch every aspect of state government. It'll touch every Kansan in the years to come. $2.5 billion in budget shortfalls now projected in the short term. The big question is, will it touch public education and every school kid in Kansas? Brownback says he's going to keep it safe. A lot of people say he can't do that, so we'll see. But to me, that's easily the call this year.
The biggest impact story for you,
well,
Dana Wright.
While we don't know the impact yet, I think it will be the massacre in Connecticut. If you had told us a few weeks ago we would be talking about bulletproof backpacks for our children, arming teachers in our schools, putting in safe rooms, $4 billion for police presence in every school, we would have said you were crazy. And now, sadly, we are talking about all of those things. I don't know what's going to happen, but I think our schools will look very, very different in 2013 and beyond, sadly, because of what happened last Friday.
Eric Wesson, the biggest local impact story in 2012 for you was what?
It was a toss-up between people voting to tax themselves and the Obama campaign. But I'm going to say the Obama campaign because it changed the face on how political campaigns are run.
How about locally, though?
Locally, I would say people voting to tax themselves. With the sales tax increases that they continue to vote for, yet and still it looks like the conditions aren't changing in various parts of the community.
Dave.
Two things. Dana Wright's move to KMBZ Radio in this year changed the face of media in Kansas City.
Moving from commercial television to radio, yes.
That change we will be talking about really into the 22nd century. And then the drought. I think the drought in our area, the summer-long drought, suggests that we have not yet come to terms with climate change. Everyone disagrees on what it's about, but no one can disagree about the impact that's coming. The rivers are at historic lows. The shipping on the Mississippi is difficult. I think 50 years from now, we will look back on this time and say to ourselves, that's really when the climate began to change and we needed to deal with it.
But the year before, when you were on this program,
Flooding.
you were talking about flooding, Dave. Yes.
And so, obviously I can change my mind, which is another, hallmark of great reporting. But I do think the climate is changing, and I do think we need to start having that conversation in our area.
Dana Wright, complete this sentence for me. This news story Kansas City would most like to forget in 2012 was blank.
Oh, I went with the easy and obvious one. All of the Chiefs, all of it. Beyond
that was almost the entire year.
Beyond their
Yes.
abysmal season, their PR machine asking fans to remove their Fire Pioli signs. They got into a skirmish over a Twitter post with a fan who they berated publicly. Hello, social media. And then obviously the horror that was the Jovan Belcher murder-suicide at the end of the year, which opened a national conversation about violence in the NFL and guns and concussions. I think we would all like to forget this season in its entirety and look forward to next year.
Agreed.
Eric, what did you put in that category?
I put the Cleaver and that car wash. I'm so sick of hearing about it. Get it settled and move on.
Steve.
Well, I picked a couple of the Bishop Finn story, which doesn't go away, not going away still. That story seems to linger. And also, I thought something from this summer really stuck out to me. The booing of Robinson Cano at the 2012 Major League Baseball All-Star Game here in Kansas City. We looked like a bunch of homers. Our fans were booing him because he didn't put Billy Butler on the home run derby team. And I just thought it was in poor taste, and we didn't look good.
The story you'd most like to forget in 2012, Dave Helling?
Two quick ones. The registration system for cars in Kansas. You don't expect the government to do much, but if they're going to require you to pay taxes when you register your car, they ought to be able to take your money efficiently and quickly. Instead, people had to wait hours.
Yeah, there
just to
were
get
8-hour waiting lines
Absolutely.
at the Kansas DMV offices.
Honorable mention, Kansas legislature was unable to redistrict itself, which is, that's a basic function, again, of legislative government, is to draw districts, and they were utterly unable to do that because of disagreements in their own ranks. Those were two epic fails in the state of Kansas this year.
Well, you go first on this next question,
Great.
Dave. Time magazine has just named President Barack Obama its Person of the Year for 2012. If I was asked to pick Kansas City's Person of the Year, I would choose who?
I wrote down Tom McDonald, who is leaving or left DST Systems in Kansas City under circumstances that are not completely clear yet, and will go to the Kauffman Foundation. Tom McDonald has had an impact on our community that very few people really have paid a lot of attention to, but it's been enormous. And I think he has an enormous opportunity at the Kauffman Foundation to marry its mission of entrepreneurship with Google Fiber, the communications that are going on in Kansas City. If we can figure out a way to bring those two things together, then it's really going to help our community going forward.
It's interesting you mentioned the Kauffman Foundation, and I will even say DST. A lot of people have no clue what DST does, first of all.
Right.
He left there, and then going to the Kauffman Foundation. And while that's known in the nonprofit world, and we certainly benefit as a public TV station a lot from the philanthropy of the Kauffman Foundation, but in the larger population of Kansas City, don't have a full understanding of what even the Kauffman Foundation does.
And
Dave.
it is focused on entrepreneurship, which I think most people agree in the 21st century will be extraordinarily important for communities. And so they're well positioned for that, particularly to take advantage of the coming changes in technology that the dinosaurs around this table are utterly unable to completely
clue.
understand.
Speak for yourself.
We don't have, that's right. We don't have a clue. That will be his mission. If he can pull it off, he'll improve this community greatly.
Eric Wesson, the committee was now calling you up and asking you the Kansas City Person of the Year, and you were selecting who?
I'm going to go with Claire McCaskill. Claire picked her opponent. She knew he was going to say something crazy, and he slid right into the trap. She didn't. She was behind. She had no chance of being reelected. She maneuvered that situation perfectly to her benefit, and you never underestimate her political savviness. So I'm going to say Claire.
Dana.
I'm going to go kind of along the lines of what Dave Helling said and nominate two, Jim Reardon and Sly James, for working together, for bringing Google Fiber.
You mean Joe Reardon.
Joe Reardon, pardon me.
Yeah.
Jim's the Topeka City Council guy. Joe, for bringing Google Fiber to the area. I don't think we realize its impact yet. I think it will eventually impact all of us. I think a lot of us who live maybe out south are going, why do I care about this now?
Right.
I think eventually the benefits are going to be enormous. And I also hats off for the cooperation between two mayors on either side of state line versus always taking things from one another. They cooperated and got something big done for the better of the whole community.
And you get more credit than Newsweek magazine that was giving just Sly
They
James
only
the credit
tipped
for
their
bringing
hat to
Google
Sly James, and I'm
Kansas
going,
City
what
when
about
it
Joe
was Joe
Reardon? It
Reardon
was his
who
idea,
was the first
wasn't it?
person to do so, yes.
was,
No
yeah.
question about it.
Absolutely. Steve Kraske, you are picking now the Person of the Year in Kansas City, and you selected. Do you also have two heads on the front cover of the magazine, or have you got a single person?
Well,
on
I
there?
have two heads. I'm going to go with what Eric said about Senator Claire McCaskill, if only because it does keep Missouri, gives it a face of a state that still has two personalities, a Democratic personality and a Republican as well. But I'm also picking a guy that a lot of folks don't know, John Topper Johns of Prairie Village, one of the great philanthropists in our community. He's a mountaineer, a lover of theater, a lawyer, and he has perhaps the most extensive private art collection anywhere in the Midwest. He's got Degas, Picasso, de Kooning, all these guys, opens his house all the time to charitable events. One of the best interviews I had on the radio this year, a wonderful guy, and more people should know who John Topper Johns is.
Right, and I'm giving kudos to this panel, which did something that Time Magazine hasn't done. You mentioned a woman, for instance, as a Person of the Year. Time Magazine hasn't named a woman newsmaker of the year in almost 3 decades.
Wow.
You picked Claire McCaskill, so kudos for that. Eric Wesson, fill in the blank for us on the next question. The biggest winner in Kansas City this year was who?
The business community. They got a streetcar that nobody knows a whole lot about. So I'm going to say the business community got something that no one has yet to figure out or explain the logic behind having it. I'll put it that way.
Who did you pick, Dave?
Tim Huelskamp, the congressman from the 1st District of Kansas, a freshman, had no opposition this time, a fringe conservative until about 2 weeks ago, and then he was kicked off the Agriculture Committee by House Speaker John Boehner, and has since become really a poster child for the Tea Party movement in the United States. He's showing up on national interviews, getting all kinds of national attention. In a state in which conservatives have absolute control and which the jockeying for position is intense, Tim Huelskamp this year was able to rise a little bit above that, at least as far as conservatives are concerned, and so he was my winner.
The biggest winner for you, Steve?
Well, what struck me about this category, Nick, was how few winners there seem to be. A lot easier task to pick losers this time around than winners. So for my category for biggest winner, I'm going to pick fans of IKEA stores. People are so excited about that store coming to this area. I got neighbors talking about it, everybody else. To me, that was the big winner.
And coming to Merriam, Kansas. But always when it's a good news story, it's IKEA coming to Kansas City, and then the individual city doesn't get as much attention. If it's bad news, it's coming to Merriam, you know. But so Merriam deserves a lot of credit because it's going to be going to that city. Yes, Dana, your winner?
So my winner, I chose all of the drivers who have ever traveled K-10. And notice I did not choose the state of Kansas for dragging its feet for decades in refusing to install cable in a known death trap connecting Lawrence and Kansas City. I did an investigation on it many, many, many months ago. We found 20 crossover deaths in a 10-year period. Sadly, right after the story aired, that little boy, Canaan, lost his life on K-10, and then finally they go, all right, we'll look and put in cables. Missouri has had cables. Anytime there's a wreck, they look at it, they put them in, and the incidence of deaths by crossover wrecks on highways in Missouri is near nothing. But you traveled 20 yards west into the Kansas side, and people were dying all the time. So kudos to the drivers on K-10 who don't have to worry about someone barreling toward them at 80 miles an hour on their way back from a KU game.
Very good point. Steve Kraske, complete this sentence, if you would, with the name of an individual, a group, an issue, or an institution. The biggest loser in Kansas City in 2012 is blank.
And again, there were so many to pick from, sadly, in 2012. I think I'm going to go with something Dana said earlier. which is Scott Pioli, the general manager of the Chiefs. I mean, not only did the football team implode this year, including all of the first-round draft choices that Scott's made over the years, a team that was going to win the conference, the division, has now fallen flat on its face. He had to witness the horrific event a few weeks ago with Javon Belcher in the parking lot outside Arrowhead. No one deserves that, and I feel very badly for Scott Pioli as this year ends.
Dave Helling.
The list is so long, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Yoder naked, Todd Aiken making the mistake he made, Kansas Democrats offering absolutely no opposition to the Republicans, but on my list, Chris Kobach, biggest loser. It's very clear the Republican Party has decided, for whatever reason, that immigration is not an issue on which they can win national elections. And there's all kinds of talk among Republicans about having to have a more tolerant view about immigrants in this country. And that is exactly the opposite of where Chris Kobach has been on this issue. He was a rising star in that party. My guess is it's going to be difficult nationally to hear his name in the months ahead.
Eric Wesson.
The 3rd and 5th councilmatic districts of Kansas City, Missouri, and I say that because the Linwood Shopping Center is still tumbleweeds blowing through the parking lot. Nobody has a plan or an idea for it. And the 5th councilmatic district, because the Citadel project, nobody has a plan for it that they've brought forward. So the residents of those two areas are the biggest losers compared to the Northland. The Northland Mall, or the mall there, they've got a destruction plan for it, a rebuilding plan for it. So I'm going to say the 3rd and the 5th
But you know,
district.
when Sly James came in as mayor, he said he wanted to do things for that area. And so why haven't those things happened?
I don't think that there's been a plan for what to do that reaches across the line and helps everybody, and everybody understands it. You don't have he wants private development money put into it. Developers probably don't think that area is too viable because people are moving out of it. So everybody campaigned on it. When they had things in the inner city, the first thing they talk about is the Linwood Shopping Center and their plan, but we're still talking about it, and there's not been a bulldoze or anything in that area.
And so did Mark
to help
Funkhauser.
it. Exactly.
Dana Wright.
Well, there's no denying for me, number one is Todd legitimate rape Aiken, who only had to keep his mouth shut. Just stop talking. Just stop talking.
Could have gone on vacation.
He
and
could
still
have
won.
literally not campaigned, shut his mouth,
Yes.
and ended up in Washington. And then the gifts just kept on giving. That wasn't very ladylike. Every time he opened his mouth, it was just a gift that kept on giving. And now has mounds of debt, and I could not be happier. Women vote. Hashtag women vote.
All right, Dana Wright, multiple choice for you. Who had the most difficult job in Kansas City in 2012? Was it the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, Romeo Crennel? Was it the watchman charged with monitoring the new bus to Rush Limbaugh, threatened with vandalism at the Hall of Famous Missourians in the Missouri Capitol? Was it the always misunderstood and underappreciated Royals owner, David Glass? Perhaps it's the security guards at Crown Center who now have to enforce the no kids rule at the Crown Center fountains. Remember that story from this summer? Or the bouncer at Legoland, which announced when it opened they would not allow any adults to enter if they weren't accompanied by a child? Or is it E, something completely different?
I chose E. I
Okay.
sadly am going to go with the head of homicide for the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department. As of this taping, this city stands at 103 homicides for 2012. Most, as we know, in the urban core, most young black men. Why can't we get our hands around this problem? We have to figure out why it is happening. Our homicide rate, is worse than that of Chicago, which saw more lives lost than they saw in Afghanistan this year.
Worse than Washington,
We
D.C.,
should all
New
be
York City.
screaming that it is so bad, and we've kind of gotten used to it being so bad, so people aren't discussing solutions. I get an email in my inbox every day from the homicide department. There's been another one. It's usually a young black male. And I think people are getting desensitized to the fact that there have been 103. The year's not even over yet.
And we don't scream until there are 20 first graders shot to death in Connecticut. That's
Absolutely.
the shame.
Yeah, but the Pew Center did a poll since then and said there was less than a majority of Americans, though, who favored further restrictions on guns, though. So it hasn't really shifted tremendously people's views on gun control. But what about the issue of the homicides? Why haven't we seen any major policy change or action from city leaders, civic leaders in this
Right.
community
We-
with regards to that. We want to do ultra high speed, fast internet.
Right.
We want to do all of these things. We have a gorgeous performing arts center. We have all these other terrific jewels and assets. Why don't we do anything with regards to that issue?
First of all, because we don't have control of our police department, which, by the way, will be a major issue in 2013. But second, Kansas City is very big on symbolic steps that don't have any practical implication. Let me give you an example. Yesterday, the council passed a resolution calling on the federal government to take a look at gun control or gun control-related issues. This week, I was researching a story about all of the steps that might be taken about the calamity out east, and one of the things I discovered is that Omaha, Nebraska, under city ordinance, requires you to register your handgun with the chief of police. When you come in, if you come into that city, if you own a gun, you have to tell the police department. Now, people can agree or disagree over whether that's a good idea or not, but it's a concrete step that at least addresses it. Kansas City would never even consider taking that. They will take the symbolic vote. You do something, not us. And I think that's a difference in Kansas City.
That, and because this issue, like so many issues, Nick, is so much more complicated than it appears.
No question.
You wrap in poverty, you wrap in mental health, and pretty soon you got yourself a terrifically expensive and complicated problem.
Yes, Eric.
I'll get a bunch of emails calling me a racist for this, but I believe that the biggest problem is they're not young white males. If they were young white males, we would have tons of solutions, problems solved. And because, like Dana said, we've become used to 100 homicides a year. So if we get 99, great. If it's 103, then fine, we're at the average. So they don't want it to go any higher, so people don't understand it or don't realize how significant and serious a problem
I
that this is.
would just wrap by saying it can't be eradicated, but it can be fixed. Other cities have done it. We just need to think out of the box.
Okay.
Other cities have done it.
Steve Kraske, the most difficult job in Kansas City in 2012.
Well, I picked F, someone completely different. I picked Fred Phelps, the man who protests everywhere, no longer has any impact because of this new federal law for military funerals. He has to be kept at least 300 feet away. I just went to a funeral for a fallen Marine just a few weeks ago. Phelps and his gang protested, but they were kept so far away you wouldn't even have known they were there, Nick.
Dave.
I put Sam Brown back only because I think he has a very divided Republican Party in the state of Kansas between the conservatives and the very conservatives. And I think even at the end of the session, Sam Brownback lost a little bit of control, ended up signing a bill that he didn't really want and that nobody really wanted, but because of the politics going on in Topeka, he had to sign.
But you get the impression now that he controls everything. He now has the Senate the way he wants it. He has the House the way he wants it. Everything
and
is
sometimes
hunky-dory for him.
And sometimes when you get what you wish for, it gets out of your control. And I think Sam Brownback realized that this year when his caucus became even more conservative than he wanted to be.
Eric.
Jermaine Reed and Melba Curls. They've got the most economically depressed district in the city council, and they got to find jobs. They have to get some housing things situated. They've got to get the education situated and attract people back to the district so that there's tax revenue being generated in the district.
Okay. Eric Weston, we go back to you to a fill-in-the-blank question. The most over-reported story in our metro in 2012 was blank.
Google.
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 Rolls off your
like,
lips, huh?
I'm like, okay, we don't know how fast it's going to be. We don't know if people in the urban core don't have computers. It's a lot of glitches in it. It's not the gold mine that people have projected it to be.
Two quick ones. We spent far too much time on the naked statue in
Yes.
Orland Park. Maybe I stole yours, but that was
break.
ridiculous. And then I covered the caucuses, the presidential nominating caucuses in Missouri, screaming, yelling, anger, a primary that didn't count. I covered them in Kansas. And it had absolutely nothing to do with how we voted when we nominated the president.
Who had another answer on this category?
The border war story over the fight over jobs, Nick, as I talked about last week, governors want to create jobs. As long as that political gold mine is there, they're going to keep fighting over these jobs.
What did you have, Dana?
I cannot discuss another second that dumb statue in Overland Park, which is art, not pornography.
Okay.
I went to a grand jury. Are you kidding me?
Dave, complete this sentence. The most underreported story in the entire metropolitan
I'm
area?
wearing my environmentalist hat today. The ash borer has come to Kansas City. We have hundreds of thousands of ash trees in our community.
My front yard.
If they, mine too, and if the ash borer is as devastating as people have suggested, it's really going to destroy part of the urban canopy, and that's not a good thing.
Let's look now to the start of this brand spanking new year, Dana Wright. Complete the sentence. I don't own a crystal ball, but if I did, this is what I'd see happening in our metro in 2013.
Well, without a doubt, we don't have a choice but to discuss the state of mental health and the funding cuts that we have seen across the country. Those in Kansas and Missouri who have struggled with this, struggle with kids, what do? We'll tell you, you have to basically put them in jail to create a paper trail before something meaningful can happen, because there aren't enough beds and there aren't enough resources. That has to be part of the overall gun debate, which I think is an enormous debate that we need to have as well.
Steve.
Dare I say it? Royals mania. The team's going to be good this year, and this town's going to be fired up, Nick.
Don't say that. You just completely jinxed it. Knocked on wood.
Dave Helling.
Crystal balls, a couple of things. Legal challenge to streetcars. I think there will be some effort to try and push back against that vote. We'll have to watch that. Local control, I've already mentioned. And then a big fight over establishing Obamacare exchanges and Medicaid expansion in the states of Kansas and Missouri.
The water department and water services in the Kansas City metropolitan area, they're going to have to sell the water department.
That is all the time we have. Dana Wright and Dave Helling, and to Eric Weston and Steve Kraske, thank you so much for being with us. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you all. We'll see you next year. Bye-bye.